Um, it's a short chapter, but I like the bit at the end, verse 9. And I will bring the third part through the fire, and will refine them as silver is refined. God also does that with us. He puts us through a trial, a difficulty, to try and knock off any rough edges, any problems. Sometimes we fall down, but Jesus picks us up, and he wants to refine us, to purify us through the transformation. There's one thing in the Old Testament where it says, like silver refined in the furnace of the earth, purified 7 times. I mean, when we come to know the Lord, yes, God washes us, he cleanses us, but we still have many rough edges. We may still have some things that we hold on to that we haven't quite let go of. God tests us to see whether we are willing. And then if we are willing, he will purify us through this wonderful purifying process. It's uncomfortable sometimes when we're being washed and cleansed or being put through the fire and tested. But if we hold on to God, God will bring us through. He doesn't allow us to go through anything that we can't cope with, because he says, I will always be with you, and I will walk in the fire with you, and you'll not be burned, like Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego in the Old Testament in Daniel, where they were put through the fire. They came out, they didn't even smell of the fire. They weren't even on their clothing. But we can go through a fire of testing and trial, and I believe we have. I have, certainly, over the last few months. And sometimes I run the wrong way, and I have to come back and keep my focus on God and what God wants of me to do and how God wants to bless us as a people. And God says those people who have come through this refining trial process that he's talking about here, those who've come through great tribulation, God says, I will say, it is my people, and they shall say, the Lord is my God. When we've come through difficulty and trial, God says, they are my people. Look at my people. They've come through. They've won the battle. They've been washed. They've been cleansed. They've been purified. And they've come through. And they're precious to me.